Yeah, I hope you are part of which newspaper? No, I know you are Kenyan. Which newspaper do you work for?
Media House.
Eh?
Wero.
Where I thought you should be informed. That was a typo. Kenya has a consular general, a consular general in Hargeisa, a consular general in Juba. Just like we have a consular general in Dubai, we have a consular general in Abu Dhabi, we have a consular general in Las Vegas, we have a consular general in
Many cities outside.
California. We have, that's the way. So we do not have an ambassador. So you need to familiarize yourself. That was a typo and it was corrected.
For the benefit.
And Kenya recognizes
Yeah.
the sovereignty and territorial integrity of
The Republic of Somalia.
the Federal Republic of Somalia.
For your information, just to add to what the chairman has said, we have consular generals of Uganda in Mombasa. You see what I mean? We have it also for many other Europeans. The British have a consul general in Mombasa. The Danish have, any country can have a consul general somewhere. We do not have a diplomatic relation with any other country in the Somali sector other than the Republic of Somalia, Federal Republic, which is domiciled in its capital city of Mogadishu. Proceed, ask questions.
Question.
Solving this issue in the sense of a conflict which is there and they will solve the conflict. No, they will state the rules clear, straight. There is something called in international law, uti possidetis juris, which basically means the boundaries have got to be left the way they were. At the inception of AU, at that time, a few cases have been the exception, like the one of Eritrea and the one of Sudan, where South Sudan as a state was established and Eritrea as a state. In both cases, it was done within the governments. Ethiopia decided it was going to let go Eritrea. The Republic of Sudan at that time decided that they were going to let go of South Sudan, the Republic of South Sudan, and help establish that. Those are the only two exceptions. So what the AU needs to do right now is to put the record straight. The rules-based AU, Ethiopia, you are wrong. But they're not going to get involved in a conflict. We tried to do it in Uganda ourselves. We tried to do it in Somalia right now. Internal conflicts are very difficult, and the continent has not been able to create, globally, I'll tell you. Americans committed forces into Somalia to try and resolve the issues of security at that time, and they couldn't. They had to cut line and run. So basically, those other issues will be solved in their own ways, but it's only fair that Ethiopians understand one thing, one basic rule. You cannot set foot in 1 inch of the Somali territory without that 30 million taking up arms. We know them the way they are. They're extremely territorial. And they will not allow the British, they will not allow the Americans, they will not allow anybody. Our forces are right now inside Somalia because the Somalis want us to assist them in maintenance their own security there. The Ugandans are there because the Somalis want them. The Burundians are there because the Somalis want them. The moment the Somalis decide that we are a menace and we are trying to take over their country, we'll not stay there for 2 more days. Everybody knows that. So if the Ethiopians want to go and experiment with Somalia, be my guest. Good luck. Many people have tried before that, including Ethiopia itself, including Meles Zenawi committing his forces into Mogadishu. What happened? He lost 25,000 lives and was literally begging to be given a way out. You get my point? So we know them. These people, the only thing they have done for the last 200 years is to fight. And there's nothing Ethiopians will gain in there. So the point is that we are saying is that we don't want that conflict. Because if that conflict comes to us, we're not worried about Somalia, let me be honest with you. As an ethnic Somali myself, as a Kenyan, I'm worried for my own country. I don't want this stupid behavior to become an accepted norm in the region. And I want my territorial integrity, my sovereignty as a Kenyan, and anybody who's going to do something that will compromise that in future, where you have this lackluster, very reckless, adventurism, where you say a certain region, and this region, no, we're not going to do that. We will not do that, and we want that peace there. And Ethiopia, sooner or later, will understand the mistake or the folly of going in there. They know it better than anybody else for your information. I don't think they'll ever make that mistake. But it's important we put this straight so that we respect the territories. The inviolability of the territorial integrities of all the countries in the region must be respected by all.
But I think you also need to, it's not fair just to dismiss the mandate and the achievements of those entities you have talked about. IGAD succeeded in midwifing the comprehensive peace agreement between the Sudans. It's a landmark achievement, okay? AU has been part of the stabilization force actually in Somalia. The Rwanda and Burundi crisis actually was largely managed by AU. So it's not that these organizations have failed in everything that they have initiated. No, there has been successes. And this is why we are saying right now they remain the only legally, internationally recognized bodies to deal with this. Because IGAD has certain norms. These countries are members. The East African community has certain norms which are acceptable to all the member states. The AU is the same. And that's why once you commit to the rules of engagement of that particular organization, you have no choice but to apply it both in letter, spirit. And that's what we are asking the Ethiopian government to do. Where we have only one internationally recognized government, the Federal Republic of Somalia, with all their weaknesses, with all the challenges, and we pray that they stabilize so that these issues around their identity and sovereignty is sorted out once and for all.
Landlocked, like Uganda. They're landlocked like Rwanda, like Burundi. They want access to the sea. But there are many countries that are landlocked who don't have access. They have to negotiate. Uganda has to negotiate with us, and we give them concessionary, what do you call, rates for their cargo to come through us. The South Sudan Republic is landlocked. Now, when Abiy comes out into the open there and says that I have to get land, regardless of how I get it, I'll try a peaceful means. If I can't get it through peaceful means, I'm willing to go to war. Go to war, my friend. Good luck.
And actually, the issue is, actually, has asked a fundamental question. The issue is because of inexperience, lack of understanding of statecraft. Statecraft. Now use this statecraft. Naivety, ambition, and arrogance. Fortunately, most of these countries did not properly participate in the drawing and the final determination of the international recognized border. Maybe the circumstance, the configuration will have been different. Because of we are all products of the scramble of Africa, isn't it? We found ourselves where we are, not because of our choice, but because of the decisions of those who are there, isn't it? Take, for example, this country. Take, for example, this beautiful country. One time, we were managed by a limited liability company called the British East Africa
Company.
Up to 1896. What happened? They gave us the railway. The British East Africa Railway. Good product. We are still using. What happened then? What happened? The British colonial government realized that the company was minting a lot of resources from Kenya. And therefore, they had to say they created a colonial office.
The colony and protectorate.
And call it a protectorate. East Africa. Yeah. And then 1920, again, they realized, oh, even this protectorate is giving them a lot of particular individuals who are benefiting. They said this is going to be a colony. It became a colony. Until when? 1944, 1945. Under the Devonshire Agreement, when they allowed the first representation. 1962, 1963. That is the history. Even if we were to appeal against it today, tell me, do we have the latitude? Do we have the resources? Do we have the time to write? And that's why we found ourselves this beautiful map called Kenya. Our responsibility as citizens is to protect it jealously.
And live together in how
many? And live together in how many? As many nation states. I'll use the word many nation states. We have had the Luya nation, the Somali nation, the Kikuyu nation, the Kalenjin nation. What is holding us together is that sovereignty and identification as citizens of sovereign state called Kenya. And this is the reality. That's why we have one flag. That's why we have one currency. That's why we have one president. That's why we have one parliament, one coat of arms. Are you seeing what I'm saying? And these are embodiments of every sovereign nation state. So when another country now decides to, because of political pragmatism, we understand. We can tell you a lot about what's happening in that particular country. For the sake of Kenya. For the sake of Kenya. You know, their population is close to 130. We really want Ethiopia to be stable. For the sake of Kenya, because we have suffered. This, where we come from, we have suffered the effects of instability in the neighboring countries. Al-Shabaab.
Already in our region.
So we do not want to be the punching bag of irresponsible leadership in the region. We are telling them, behave and conform to the international law. That is our message. So if you want something along the sea, in the Red Sea, do it with civility. Do it politely. But when you chase them and say, I must have access to the ocean, as who? That's the message.
Okay, I think, yeah, that should be the last question, eh? Yeah, what's the last question, yes? Not even the president of Somalia can give them that access. You know what I mean? Can the president of Kenya give away part of our land? Hang on a minute. Can our president give away part of our land? No.
By the way, we do not want to know what happens privately between those. But what you know is he has had a cabinet meeting, he has recalled his ambassador, he has protested to the UN Security Council. He has
Publicly,
protested
yes,
to
yes.
public. What else? We do not know what is in his heart.
Okay.
Wait.